Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar on Candy Subcontract Adjudicator. My name is Mervin Perumal. I am a Senior Technical Consultant here at the CCS office in Centurion, a city in the Gauteng province of South Africa. It is my pleasure to present this webinar to you. Today I will be showing you how to use Candy's Subcontract Adjudicator functionality. We will commence with the basics in order to ensure that everyone is of a fairly similar level of understanding as we go through to some of the more advanced functionality. Due to the large number of people logged into this webinar, we will not be able to answer any questions during the webinar. However, please submit your questions during the session with the provided function on screen. At the end of the webinar, we will collate these questions and send answers to everybody that registered for the webinar via email. Please note that the webinar will be recorded and you will receive a link to download it. There is a webinar once a month on various Candy topics. Should you not be able to attend the webinar at the given time frame, then please still register for the webinar, as this will entitle you to receive a recorded copy of the webinar. Let's get started. So what can we do in Subcontract Adjudicator? Subcontract Adjudicator can be used to package bill items for a specified subcontract package. The package bill items can be sent to Microsoft Excel and emailed to subcontractors for quotations. The Microsoft Excel quotations received can be manually entered or imported into the adjudicator. You can then adjudicate across a maximum of 12 quotations to determine the preferred subcontractor's rates, which is then sent to the pricing bill. The linked package bill allows for traceability of the rates used in the pricing bill. Post-tender, subcontractors can be added to the package and re-adjudicated. The bill in each package will be the bill of quantities that will form the basis of the appointment of a subcontractor or subcontractors for the packaged work. Setting up payments to subcontractors in the Subcontract Manager application in Candy is made easier due to the package bill having links to rates and quantities in the main bill of quantities. So we will be covering the following topics in this webinar: accessing Subcontract Adjudicator, Subcontract Adjudication Manager, creating the subcontract bill, linking and unlinking packages, backing up and recovery of packages, acquiring and entering the subcontract quote, column utilities, adjudication, that is comparing the quotes, sending rates to the pricing bill, some other tools and utilities, and some reports. Our first topic for discussion is accessing Subcontract Adjudicator. I will now show you how to access Subcontract Adjudicator. You can select the Adjudicators menu in the Estimating application and then select Subcontract Adjudicator, or you can simply click on the little tool button with a picture of a balance beam scale. Either option will result in the changes to Subcontract Adjudicator window opening. Please read these notes to keep abreast of the ongoing developments and changes that have been made to Subcontract Adjudicator. I will now close this window for this session. Our next topic would be the Subcontract Adjudication Manager. All subcontract packages are created in the Subcontract Adjudication Manager. You can create many subcontract packages, one for every subcontract inquiry. Subcontract packages can be scrolled up into headings similar to any of the other document managers in Candy. Subcontract packages are allocated package codes that can be defined in the master. These package codes can then be inherited by any job created with that master selected as the default master upon creation of the job. New packages can be added to the job at any given time. You can also set the quantity default that all the packages in the Adjudication Manager will use. This is job specific, and any changes to the default quantity will affect all the packages in the Adjudication Manager of the job. To change the default quantity, we will click on Tools in the Document menu on the top left and select Set Default Quantity, and you can choose the default quantity that you want to use. In this instance, the bill quantity. New subcontract packages can be created in one of three ways. Firstly, you can simply right-click on the heading here, Subcontractors, and select New Package. Secondly, you can simply click on the button that says New on the bottom right of the Adjudication Manager, and either of the two options will open up the package code list. This is where we will create the packages for this job. Now let's look at the columns in the package code list. The package code itself can be a maximum of 8 alphanumeric characters long. The description column can be a maximum of 40 alphanumeric characters long. The T column here represents the relevant trade that the package represents. This trade code is used to make a price code for relevant items when the bill item does not have a trade code or price code allocated to it. The resource column, this is the resource code that has been predefined in the resource list, and this will help when sending rates back to the bill of quantities. I'm now going to create my first package that is for painting. I'm going to give it a code paint. The description is painting. The predefined trade is uppercase V, and the resource code that I've defined in the resource list in this instance is 9016. To accept this package to the list, I'm going to click on the little green tick on the bottom right, and that will add that package to the Adjudication Manager. The third way of creating a package would be to create one in the Definitions and Settings. To do that, I'm going to access the Definitions and Settings. Under 7.1 Package Codes, here you can see the package code that I've defined for painting is there already. I'm now going to add another package for plumbing. I'm going to give it a code plum. For plumbing. The predefined trade that I have is an uppercase L, and the resource code is 9017. will now go back to the Adjudication Manager. Note that the package does not appear. To bring the package into the Adjudication Manager, I will now click on New, and the package code that I've defined is now listed in the package code list. I will select it and click on the little green tick on the bottom right to accept that package to the Adjudication Manager. Our next topic for discussion is creating the subcontractor bill. I will first open up the painting package. In order to establish a link between the main bill of quantities and the subcontract bill of quantities, the item forming the subcontract contractual bill must be imported from the main bill. This can be done by dragging and dropping bill items from the bill of quantities into the adjudicator, or it can be imported by price code, task code, bill code, work code, or resource group or cost code. I'm now going to show you 3 ways in which you can create the subcontractor bill. The first being, I can click on the document menu tools on the top left, and I can select import bill items by page and trade. If I select that option, Candy will ask me to confirm how I would like to do the import across all the bill pages and a selected trade. I'll click on OK. And the trade that was selected for this package was the uppercase V for painting. I will select that, click on the little green tick, and that will bring in the bill into the adjudicator, and Candy will confirm the number of lines that have been imported. In this instance, it's 10 lines, including the headings. I'll now close this bill and this adjudicator. Let's go back to the Adjudication Manager. Okay. The second way of creating the plumbing package will be to drag and drop bill items. I'm going to show you this in the plumbing package. I'm going to minimize the adjudicator to the top half of my screen. I'm going to open the pricing bill to the bottom half of my screen. I can drag headings, all bill items, but to locate the items and headings that I'm looking for, it will be easier if I go to View, Headings, Show Heading Level to a level 6. I can then scroll down easier to the section that I'm looking for, and that is plumbing and drainage, and I want the rainwater goods items. I can start by dragging the heading, click on the record row selector in line with the heading, drag, and drop that into the adjudicator. That could be quite time consuming, so I'm going to rather select a range. I will now select the range of items that I want, including the subheading. Click in line with the subheading, shift, and then at the end of the range, click in the record row selector, drag and drop the range of items into the adjudicator package. Okay, I'm now going to close all these documents and go back to the Subcontract Adjudication Manager. And in order to show you the third way, I'm going to delete this package that we've just created with the bill in it. Right-click there on the package, select delete the package, yes. We will recreate the plumbing package in the next method. The third way will be to allocate package codes against the bill items. To do that, we will go to the document manager in the estimating application and select 4.1 package code allocation under estimating bills. This document will list all of the subcontract package codes against the relevant bill items. Package codes can also be allocated against bill items here from which we can create the subcontract bill. I will now scroll down to show you the painting package code that's allocated against the painting bill items. We will now scroll up to the plumbing and drainage section, and I will now show you how to allocate a package code against the bill item. I can right-click in the package code column, select allocate package code, as you can see, the package code allocation in line with the bill item has been highlighted and ready to receive the code. If I double click on the plumbing package under the package code list, that will allocate that package code to that bill item. I can also select a range, which would be easier than one item at a time. To do that, I'm going to click in line with item BB in the package code column. I'll now shift and click at the end of that range, item BE. Right-click on the range and select allocate package code. I can then double-click on the package code plum, and that will allocate the code to the selected range. The third way would be the easiest way, and to do that, I'm going to show you how to delete allocated package codes. Click at the beginning of that range, hold down Shift to the end of the range, right-click on the range and select to remove package code. Candy will ask you to confirm the package code. I will double-click on plumbing code, and Candy will confirm the number of codes that have been unallocated. I will now right-click in line with the section heading Plumbing and Drainage and select Allocate Package Code. Note, the section heading and the subheadings and all of the items underneath the subheadings have been highlighted and ready to receive the code allocation. But in this instance, I only want the rainwater goods and not the drainage items. So I will now show you another way of allocating just against the rainwater goods items. Click on No. To do that, I'm going to right-click in line with the subheading Rainwater Goods and select Allocate Package Code. Note that the items under just the section heading Rainwater Goods have been highlighted and ready to receive the code allocation. I will now allocate the code by double-clicking on the plumbing code in the package code list. Note that the items have all got the package code allocated against it under Rainwater Goods. I will now show you how simple it is to have the package created. I'm simply going to double-click on the package code, and note the package has been created with the bill items and the section heading. Now, if I want to toggle back to the package allocation document, I can simply double-click on the item number, and that will allow me to toggle back to the package allocation document. And to go back to the adjudicator, I can simply double-click on the package code. Okay, now let's close this package and let's see if the code exists in the Adjudication Manager. There you go, the package code has been added to the Adjudication Manager. Our next topic for discussion is linking and unlinking packages. There are instances where you will have more than one of the same package in the Adjudication Manager. Example, if you recover a package into the adjudicator, you could choose to override the existing package or keep both. If you keep both, then there will be two packages with the same code, but the recovered package will by default be unlinked. Once the package is unlinked, you will no longer be able to transfer rates to the bill, but you will, however, be able to work on its bill as normal. Unlinked packages will have the package code grayed out to denote that it is unlinked. I will now show you how to unlink a package. I can simply right-click on the package code and select Unlink Package. Candy will then ask me to confirm my intention. Yes. And as you can see, the package code has been grayed out to denote that it is no longer linked to the pricing bill. To relink the package, I'm going to right-click on the package code and select Link Package. Note that the package code is no longer grayed out, denoting that it is now linked. In other words, the bill that's in this package is linked to the pricing bill. Our next topic for discussion is backing up and recovery of packages. Subcontract packages can be backed up and sent to another Candy user that can recover the package into their Subcontract Adjudication Manager. Like I mentioned before, recovered packages can either override or be added to existing packages. Note that the package being recovered should preferably be created in a job that is an exact copy of the current job. If this is not the case, then there could be an item mismatch between the pricing bill and the package being imported. I'll now show you how to back up a package. I'll simply right-click on the package code, go down to Backup and Recover, and select Backup. Backup to, in this instance, could be a file. This is very similar to backing up of a job in your job manager. The recovery of a package, however, is slightly different. So let me show you how to do the recovery. I have a package for concrete labor only that I have backed up. I will now recover that. To do the recovery, right-click on an existing package code, go down to Backup Recover, and then recover, in this instance, from a file. We will just wait for the system to refresh. It's going to take me through to Windows Explorer, where I can track the backup that I have stored on this PC. There you go, the Adjudicator backup for concrete labor. I'm going to select that, click on Open. Candy will again confirm, like you would have to confirm when you're importing a job, whether you want to recover the data. Yes. The Candy will now give you a list of all the packages that are in the backup that you've received. And you can then select which packages you want to recover. In this case, I have just one, so I'm going to select that concrete labor only. Click on the recover button on the bottom. And Candy will then ask me to confirm how I would like to do the recovery. There's an option to replace the selected packages and auto-link the package being recovered. This will override any existing linked packages with the package being recovered. The other option is to insert the selected packages and leave the existing ones as they are. I'm going to leave the default sticker option and click on Recover. It will then ask me to confirm how I would like to do the recovery, to use an external link, or in this case, link it by page and item number. I'm going to select that green ticket, and this will recover that package. But note that the package code is grayed out to denote that it is not linked. And also note in the back, on the top left, Candy is giving you an Adjudicator backup recovery warning. All this is saying is it's confirming the package that has been recovered, and it is indicating to you that this package was not created in this job, meaning it was created in another job where there could be an item mismatch between the package being imported and the existing pricing bill. We will close that notice, go back to the Adjudication Manager. I will now show you how to relink this package or to link it. Right-click on the package code, select Link Package. And there you can see the package code is now highlighted to denote that it is now linked to the pricing bill. If there was an item mismatch, then Candy will alert you, and it will confirm the mismatch for you to go and resolve. Our next topic for discussion is acquiring and entering the subcontractor's quote. Note that a potential list of subcontractors can be filtered for a trade in the subcontractor database in Candy, and requests for quotations can be sent via email to the selected or filtered range of subcontractors from within the subcontract database. A full RFQ process and the subcontractor database will be shown to you in a separate webinar. For now, I will show you how to send a copy of this bill of quantities. In this case, we're going to do it in the painting package. I will now access the painting package. To create the Microsoft Excel bill to be sent to the subcontractors for pricing, I will click on the Documents menu, Tools on the top left, select Export, export a blank bill to Excel. There are two options. One is a protected bill, which is the first option, and the second option is an unprotected bill. Let's select the first option. Confirm that we want it exported to Excel. We will wait for the system to generate the Excel file. Note that the package number, item number, description, unit, and quantity columns have been highlighted. This is confirming that these columns have been protected. If I click in there and try to make a change, it will confirm that these columns are protected. This will ensure that the subcontractor does not alter the contractual bill that he is pricing in any way. This will protect you as the client. Note the submission date. I will show you later how to incorporate the submission date in your export. I'll now close this Excel file. And let's look at the second option that was there. That was to export a blank bill to Excel unprotected. Let's wait for the system to generate this bill in Excel. Note, it is the exact same bill, the only difference being the columns are no longer protected. So this could mean that the subcontractor can alter any of the contractual information and then send it back to you. So that's the blank Excel bill unprotected. I will now close that file. And the third option that was there under the export was to export bill and rates to Excel. That can only be done once all the subcontractors have been entered into the packages with their rates. Then you can print a complete package bill, including all the rates across all the subcontractors to Excel. Okay, I'm going to start entering rates by first entering the names of the subcontractors that I have received quotes from. The first subcontractor is Sea Green. The second subcontractor is Rainbow Colors. And the third is Art Deco Limited. Now, Sea Green subcontractor has sent me his quote in a format different from the Excel document that I've sent him. So I've now got to manually enter his prices into the adjudicator. I'll now enter his prices. Okay, this can be quite time consuming. The easier way would be for you to receive that price in the document that was sent to him. If the document was sent to him from Excel and he has not altered it in any way, then we will be able to import his quote directly into the adjudicator. I will now show you how to do that. I have received the quotes for Rainbow Colors and Art Deco via email on the Excel file. I'll now right-click in the package in the rate column in line with Rainbow Colors. I will select Import Subcontractor Quote. Candy will ask me to confirm the package subcontractor that I want to import the quote for. Rainbow Colors, confirm that. On the next window, Candy will allow you the opportunity to go into Explorer and track the file that you have stored on your PC. To do that, I will click on the yellow little folder on the top right here, and that will take me straight through to Windows Explorer, and I will then track the file that is Rainbow Colors. That's the document. I'm going to click on it, click on Open. Candy will confirm the path that you have selected. If you're happy with that, click on Start Import. Candy will then confirm the number of rates imported. Click on OK. The rates have been imported from the Excel file. And note the lowercase I that appears to the right of the rates. This is to denote that the rate has been imported and not typed in manually. I will now import the rates for Art Deco in the same process. or right-click in the rate column, select Import Subcontractor Quote, confirm that it is Art Deco Limited that I want to import, go to Windows Explorer, select the file that I want to import, click on Open, and then start import. Candy will confirm the number of rates imported. Note that item BM has not been priced by Art Deco. Our next topic is column utilities. Let's look at the column for Sea Green Subcontractor. Note the first line is the subcontractor's name, and immediately below that is the discount factor. This is used to apply a trade discount given by the subcontractor. Candy will always by default apply a factor of 1 against each subcontractor created in the package. I'm going to, in this instance, apply a trade discount that we received from Rainbow Colors of 2.25% against his rate. To do that, I'm going to change that factor to 0.975 to apply the discount. Note the rates have not changed, but the amounts have been reduced by the trade discount percentage. The block on the right of the discount factor is the currency code allocator. If the subcontractor's rates are in a foreign currency, the selected exchange rate converts the bill to the pricing currency. To do that, I can click on the little down arrow and then select the relevant or the applicable currency code. The currency codes can be defined under the definitions and settings and then allocated against the subcontractor in the resource list. The next field there, below the discount factor, is the items added amount. This field reflects the sum of money that is not linked to the main bill. Typical examples will be your preliminary in general and or your site establishment that is not added to the rates but appears separately as a part of the subcontractor's quote, but has a great impact on the adjudication process. So I will now add an item for, in this instance, preliminary in general to show you how this would work. I'll give it a bill quantity of 1, and the unit will be sum. I'm going to allocate a sum of 10,000 across all of the subcontractors. Note that the amount in the rainbow colors column has been reduced by the trade discount that was allocated to that subcontractor. Take note of the lowercase u that has appeared to the right of the item that I've created in the item column. This is to denote that this item is unlinked to the main bill. To view a list of some of the other markers that you could encounter in Subcontract Adjudicator, I'm going to right-click here in the description column. I'm going to go down to Utilities. And select Keys to Markers. This will list all the keys or the legends of the indicators that you could encounter in the adjudicator. If ever you do encounter something, you can always refer to this list. The additional amount that's been added can be left to be added to the total of the subcontractor's cost to allow for correct adjudication. But if the subcontractor's rates are to be sent to the main pricing bill, then the additional cost must be spread across the rates prior to being sent to the pricing bill. To do that, if you look to the right of the item added amount total, there's a button for spreading. If I click on that button, then that 10,000 Rand will be spread pro rata across all of the bill items amounts. To undo that spread, I can click on the same button that now reads Unspread. I will redo the spread to explain the next row to you. The rate factor below the item's added amount is a factor that will denote the percentage increase in the amount that's going to be transferred to the pricing bill. To the right of that factor is the Add a Note button. You'll click on this button if you want to make notes against the subcontractor. This could, for example, be any price qualifications that were stipulated in his quote, or you can click on the next button, which is to add an external hyperlink, and you can save that terms and conditions or the pricing qualifications on your PC and create a link or an hyperlink to that document to be linked to the subcontractor. The Rates to Bill button we will discuss in a moment. Our next topic for discussion is the adjudication, which is comparing of the quotes. You can have a maximum of 12 quotes in a package, but choose to adjudicate across just 3 out of the 12 subcontractors. To do this, the preferred 3 subcontractors will have to be the first 3. Subcontractors listed in the package are read from or scanned by Candy from left to right. If the preferred 3 are scattered within the 12, then we will have to rearrange this list of subcontractors in order to make the first 3 the preferred 3. To shuffle columns, you can simply right-click on the column that you want to move. In this case, I'm going to move rainbow colors. I will right-click in the rate column and go down to column utilities, and I will swap the column firstly to the left. To move the column back to where it was, I'm going to right-click in the rate column, go down to column utilities, and then swap the column to the right. The third option that was there, if you right-click in the rate column, go back to column utilities, the third option was to delete subcontractor column. That will delete the entire column. In other words, that subcontractor being removed from the adjudicator. Once this list of subcontractors have been shuffled into the correct order, you will now be ready to compare the quotes. To do that, you will click on the Compare Quotes button on the bottom right. Candy will ask you to confirm the number of subcontractors that you wish to adjudicate across. If I had 12, and Candy will say I've got access to 12, but I could choose just the first 3 if it's the ones that I want to adjudicate across. In this instance, I've only got 3, so that is the maximum. I'm going to click on OK. Candy will then ask me to confirm if I would like to use any of the subcontractors' rates in place of or to substitute against the rate for art decor that has not been priced, that's item BM. In this instance, I'm going to select none to see how Candy would deal with this. I'm going to click on the little green tick, and the results would then appear. Now let's look at the rows that are in the results window. The first row is the common values. These are those items that have been priced by all of the subcontractors. The balance row will be the total sum for items that have not been priced by any one of the subcontractors. Common total. This will be the total sum as they appear at the bottom of their columns in the adjudicator. The maximum makeup amount is the maximum value received across all the subcontractors for the unpriced items. And the maximum total is the sum of the common values and the maximum makeup values. The minimum makeup is the minimum value received across all the subcontractors for the unpriced item. The minimum total is the sum of the common values and the minimum makeup values. Just look a little further down is the provisional total. If there were items in the adjudicator marked as provisional, then the total sum of the amounts would appear in this row. The unlinked total, that would be the sum of all the items that have been added to the adjudicator and are unlinked to the main pricing bill. In this case, it was the 10,000 that I'd added. Under C green, you can see that it's been spread across the amounts, which is why it no longer reflects as a value here. Under rainbow colors, the amount's been reduced by the trade discount. And under Art Deco, it is exactly as we allocated it. From the analysis, we can see we have given Art Deco the base and the worst case scenarios. In other words, the highest rate substituted for his unpriced items and the lowest rate substituted for his unpriced items. And both instances will be reflected here, and you can see the result shows that in both instances, given the best and the worst case scenario, he is still higher than the lowest rate, which is C green. From the analysis, we can see that C green has submitted the lowest price. However, the analysis does not in any way indicate which subcontractors' rates should be used. It merely highlights the most favorable rate, but the decision on which rates should be transferred to the pricing bill rests entirely on the user. Now close those results. Our next topic for discussion is sending rates to the pricing bill and some rate tools with that. Subcontractors' rates sent to the pricing bill can be added to the net worksheets of the linked bill items. If a bill item does not have a worksheet, then one will be created automatically using the item's price code. If there is no price code, but the item has a trade code, then the trade code would be used to create the system-generated price code. If the package has a default trade, then that trade would be used to make the price code. The preferred subcontractor in this case, as we said, is C green, so we're going to send his rates to the pricing bill. We can do this in one of two ways. I can simply right-click in the rate column and select Rates to Bill and send subcontractors' rates to the net worksheets in the bill of quantities, or I can simply click on the button Rates to Bill. This will, by default, send the rates to the net worksheets. I will now click on that button, and Candy is going to ask me to confirm a few of the transfer options that I want to select before sending this to the bill. It will first ask you to confirm the resource code. In this case, the resource code has appeared because I have allocated this resource code to the package code, and the description has come up as per the description in the package code list. Under the worksheet options, the first option is to add or update. This will add this resource to the existing worksheet calculation But if the resource already exists, then the resource information will be updated as per the adjudicator. The next option there is to suspend existing. This will suspend the existing worksheet and instate a new worksheet with the new resource from the adjudicator. Clear existing. This will clear the contents of the existing worksheet and replace it with the new resource from the adjudicator. The resource replacement option. This will convert resources of a selected resource type in an existing worksheet to comments in the worksheet, and then will add the new resource created from the adjudicator. This option will be used especially when you've got existing worksheets that have been priced to be done either by yourself, and you've now opted to use a subcontractor for one of the or all of the resource types in that worksheet. To the right is the transfer options. The first option, copy subcontractor name to resource remarks. This will copy the subcontractor's name to the resource remarks column in the resource list. The mark worksheet provisional for provisional subcontract rates option. In this option, only the rates marked provisional in the adjudicator will have worksheets marked as provisional upon transfer of the rates to the pricing bill. The last of the options is to clear the worksheet provisional markers. With this option, the relevant worksheets that were marked provisional in the pricing bill will have the provisional marking removed upon the transfer of the rates to the pricing bill. I will leave the worksheet option as add and update and click on OK. It will confirm the number of rates that has been transferred, in this instance, 6. Take note that the column header for sea green has now got a yellow border around it. This is to denote that this is the subcontractor's rates that were sent to the pricing bill. You've also got on the worksheet button, on the button that says rates to bill, you'll see the word used at the end to denote also that this is the subcontractor's rates that were sent to the pricing bill. Now let's look at some of the other rate utilities. If we right-click in the rates column and go down to rate importing, and let's look at import bill rates first. This is used to import the net rates from the bill to compare against the subcontractor's rates received. Import by selected criteria. This is used to import rates from another subcontractor. You can choose to import the highest, lowest, or average rates from multiple subcontractors, or the rates from a specific subcontractor. Rates that are copied are marked as provisional. The other option is to import rates from another subcontract package. This is used to copy rates from one subcontract package bill to another. The factor and currency codes are copied, but the factor formula and notes and notepads will not be copied. Under the rates to BOQ, we can also send the selling rate to the bill of quantities, and the option there to reinstate worksheets. That option will do the converse of what the option was in the worksheet when we used to transfer the rates to the bill. That was to suspend the existing and instate a new worksheet. This option will reinstate the suspended worksheet. Let's go back to rate importing. I will now show you how to import bill rates. This is used to import the net rates from the bill to compare against subcontractors' rates that have been received in the package. To show you this, I will first have to go and create a new subcontractor. But to do this, I am going to do it in the package that I've recovered. That is the concrete labor only package. I'm going to create a new subcontractor here. I'm going to call it BOQ labor rates, seeing that this package is for concrete labor only. So all that we see in this package are just labor rates. So I'm going to call this subcontractor BOQ labor rates. I will now import the BOQ rates, in other words, just the labor rates from each of the worksheets against these items, or the labor resource types. To do that, I will right-click in the rate column, select Rate Importing, Import Bill Rates. Candy will confirm that this is the column that I want to import into. Yes. As stated earlier, I can import by resource type, resource cost or group code, or the selling rates. I can even include plug and split. But I want to select the first option by resource type, seeing that this is just labor only resources. Candy will then ask me to confirm the resource type, which is going to be labor. Green tick that. And all that has been imported is the labor resource type rates that were in the worksheet. I can now compare what I have priced as doing the work on my own against what the subcontractors have priced. Okay, now let's look at some of the rate tools. So if I right-click in the rate column and go to Rate Tools, the first option there is Auto Price Like Codes. This is used to price identical price codes using the rate of the first occurrence of the price code to automatically price like items on the subcontractor package bill. Let me give you an example. If I had 4 items, items A, B, C, and D with the same price code, then in this scenario, items B and C have been priced. These rates in this routine will be unchanged. Item A will be unpriced, and item D will inherit the price from the first occurrence in this list, which would be item B. The next option there is spread amount proportionally. This option is used when a subcontractor has given you a lump sum price and you now need to add that lump sum price to the adjudicator, and to export it, if you decide to use the lump sum rate, we would need rates. So I'm going to show you how we would do the spread amount proportionally. To do that, I will create a new subcontractor and I'm going to call it spread amount. I will now right-click in the rates column, get onto Rate Tools, and select the option to spread amount proportionally. Candy will then ask me to confirm the amount that I want to spread, in this case the lump sum value that has been received. I've chosen an amount of 400,000. I will enter the amount and click on the green tick. You will then be asked to select the subcontractor's rates that you want to use as the basis of the proportional spread. In this instance, I will choose the BOQ rates to be the base of the proportional spread. Green tick that. Candy will then confirm the amount that will be spread against this subcontractor that I've created and the base that I am using for the proportional spread. Happy with that? I'll click on OK. Candy has used the amounts in the BOQ rate column as the basis to determine the pro rata split of the total 400,000 lump sum that I entered. The values were created, or the amounts against each item, and then the item's quantities were used to derive the rates against each of the items from the proportional spread amount. Note the marker that has appeared to the right of the rate. It's a lowercase p to denote that these rates are provisional. Let's look at some of the other rate tools. Provisional rates. Provisional rates. This option is used to mark or unmark rates as provisional. Alternative rates. This is also used to mark or unmark alternatives. Included rates. We will use this to mark or unmark rates as included. Excluded will be used to mark or unmark rates as excluded. The edit factor formula. This will convert a sum of money entered in the rate column to a unit rate if the value entered was an amount in the rate column. This function converts the amount to a rate by dividing it by the corresponding quantity, rounded to 2 decimal spaces, and the factor is ignored during the conversion, but is reapplied to the rate after the conversion, as for all other rates. The rate check option. This will check if there are price codes with more than one occurrence that have different prices against them in the adjudicator. If such a conflict exists, then the transfer of the rates to the bill will be stopped and the conflicting bill items will be displayed for correction, and an option will be provided to automatically recode the price codes to avoid the conflict. The next option there is rate copying. This is used to either copy or add or subtract or copy an entire list of rates from one subcontractor to another or between subcontractors in the package. To do that, I will first have to set a target column. In other words, the column that will receive any of the copies or the additions or subtractions or any of the other utilities. I will now show you how to set the target column. I was in the BOQ labor rates column, so that column will be set as the target column. To remove the target column marker, I can close the package, and if I reopen the package, the marker would be removed. I will reset the column to show you the options under the rate copying. The copy column rates to target is used to replace the rates in the target column with the rates from this column. In other words, I would have to be in another column to do that. So if I right click on another subcontractor's rate column, go down to rate copying, I can copy these rates to the target column. The next option is to add column rates to target. This is used to add the rates from this column to the rates in the target column. The next option to subtract column rates from target. This is used to subtract these rates from the target column. Copy this rate to target. This is used to replace the rates in the target column with the rates from this column in its entirety. Column utilities, these have been discussed in an earlier section. The notes option to print subcontractor notes. This is used to print all of the notes for the selected subcontractor. Our next topic for discussion is other tools and utilities. Okay, let's go back to the concrete labor only package. I'll now right-click in the description column against a bill item. Under pricing utilities, the first one will be to display the worksheet. This will display the pricing worksheet for the selected item. The create zero rated worksheets. This is used to create zero rated worksheets for bill items in the subcontract package bill. You can use this to reduce the number of unpriced items in the BOQ, as these items will eventually be priced when subcontractors' quotes are received. Under utilities, the quote required date. Remember earlier on when I showed you the export of the blank bill to Excel, there was a quote required date field that was empty. If you type in a date here, then that date would be the date that would appear on that Excel export. The set to unset total marker. This is used to create or to stipulate the bill item after which you want subtotals to be printed in your reports. The keys to markers that were shown to you in an earlier section. Notes. Page item notes. This is used to record notes against the items. And to print these notes, you will select the next option. The checksums. This is used to check the adjudicator entries against the bill items. This will print a quantity checksum listing of all the items used in this package by page, and you could use these to compare against the total sum of quantities in the pricing bill. This sum will ignore the units and will be a total sum of just the values that appear in the quantity column. Our next topic for discussion would be the last topic for this session, and that is reports. I'm going to close all the documents on screen. And the first report that I'm going to show you is a report that you will find quite useful. To do that, I'm going to access the Adjudication Manager. And this report is available under Tools in the Adjudication Manager on the top left, under Analysis Reports. I'm going to show you the summary report. Candy will ask you if you want to print across all of the subcontractors or if you want to print just the subcontractor whose rates were used in the pricing. I want to print across all the subcontractors. I will select that. Let's wait for the system to generate that preview option. I will now preview that report. Note under painting, sea green is highlighted to denote that that is the subcontractor's rates that were sent to the pricing bill. And below that will appear all of the other subcontractors in that package, and note the variance column. The variance column will reflect the variance percentage against sea green across all the other subcontractors. In other words, the percentage variance of each subcontractor's total against the total for sea green that was sent to the pricing bill. Under concrete labor only, note that there were no rates sent to the bill. So what Candy does is it will use the last column in the list of all the subcontractors listed in the package as a base, and then all of the other subcontractors in the package will be compared to that. It selects the lowest, it actually selects the lowest value in the package and compares against that. So on the right here, you will see the percentage variance against the lowest value in the concrete labor only package. And the percentage variance would be the variance of those amounts against the lowest amount in that package. Let's close that report. Under analysis reports, the other reports that you see there are fairly simple. You cover them at your leisure due to the time constraints of this session. Or if you need assistance with the reports, please contact your local candy distributor for assistance. There are other reports that can be printed from within each package. So I am going to select a package. In this case, I'm going to select the painting package. On the top left, if you click on Tools and you scroll down to the Reports option, you will see the list of reports that can be generated. Okay, I'm going to show you the comparison report. Candy will ask you to select the subcontractor's rates that will be the base against which the other rates will be compared to. In this instance, I will select the bowl, green ticket, and then Candy will ask you to confirm, or if you would like to use one of the other subcontractors' rates as a fill-in against the rate which has not been priced against any of the subcontractors. We're just going to choose, in this case, the resource type. I'm going to select the resource type as labor. Green tick that. Or select the bill rate. Click on OK. Preview that. And that will give you a comparison of just the labor rate in this package. And it will then compare the totals of each of those packages on the bottom left. This is a nice report to gauge the percentage variance against the various rates that have been received for this package. If we go back to the reports, the other reports listed are also fairly simple, and you can cover them at your leisure due to the time constraints once again. If you need assistance for the reports, please contact your local candy distributor for assistance, and they will gladly help you. Before we close this session, I'd like to show you one other report under the analysis reports. Let's close these documents. If we go back to the Adjudication Manager, under Tools, Analysis Reports, those are the reports I said are fairly simple that you can do at your leisure. But at the bottom of this list, there's an option to export subcontract summary. Clicking this option will automatically create this summary in the Document Manager under your list of external documents. We'll just wait for Candy to generate this summary. Okay, once the document's created, we can now select that document. As you can see, this is a summary of all the subcontractors in this package and the packages that have been created in the Subcontract Adjudication Manager. And note, this is a quick status report on the current status of all of the packages in the Adjudication Manager. It will list for you all the packages and all of the subcontractors against each package. And if we scroll to the right, you will see the full list of all the subcontractors in each package. And note the factors that influence the pricing have been listed for you, the maximum makeup, the discounts, and the percentages. So this is a quick dashboard of the current status of each of the packages in your Adjudication Manager. I'm going to close this Excel file. This brings us to the end of this webinar. Thank you for your time, and I trust that you have now got a greater insight into Candy's Subcontract Adjudicator. Please remember to email your local CCS office if you want to know more about the Subcontract Adjudicator. We will keep you informed of the next webinar. And remember, if you are unable to join any of our webinars, still register, as this will entitle you to receive a recorded copy of the webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day. Until the next webinar, goodbye.